Coming up next on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime, here on location at Karma Bar and Grill in Milwaukee. We've got this week's Raw Report, Smackdown Report, Hot News, DWHS, Diamond of the Ring, and so much more. All right here, right now on the Pro Wrestling Report, right here on Fight TV.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime TV, the longest running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts, David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime TV here for Saturday, August the, what the heck date is it, David Hero?
Saturday.
Yeah. Yes, very good. Thank you. Great job. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside David Octavius the Tiberius, the alleged backyard, one-time knockout, straight edge, hardcore Hall of Famer hero.
Yes.
David, how have you been in your week off? You had a week vacation.
Yeah, you know what? Thank God I have a bunker.
I'm sorry?
I've been living in the bunker. In the
With Archie?
Yes. We're in Milwaukee. You have to nowadays.
Archie Bunker or Donald Trump? Which one?
No. Archie,
he was here recently.
I was
Donald
in
Trump.
Archie's bunker.
Oh, fantastic. Why?
Yeah. You didn't see the news? Our town?
The flooding in Louisiana, a bunker would not save you. You'd probably be worse off.
I'm talking about the torchings and the weave shop that got burned down to the ground. How quick do you think that stuff went on fire?
The weave shop.
It was. Well, what do you call it?
I think it's like the hair place.
I was told that they can't burn any more weaves. Stop burning my weaves.
Folks, we are here on location at Karma Bar and Grill. And why are we here, you may ask? We are here because tonight, this facility will be broadcasting the big UFC showdown between Nate Diaz
202
and Conor McGregor. And remember, we've got a wager on this that you feel this buy rate, the people who purchase this event will be stronger and higher than those that purchased 200 with Brock Lesnar.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And let's not forget, next month here at Karma for number 203, it's with CM Punk.
You gonna come for that one?
Oh,
I know how big a Punk fan you are.
Absolutely. I want to watch that fight.
How about the press conference with Conor McGregor earlier today?
Yeah. Throwing cans and bottles at the audience.
He's an angry Irishman.
You're not like that.
Folks, let's get right down to it with this week's WWE Raw Report. And Raw from this past Monday night, a 3-hour show again, the centerpiece, the return of Brock Lesnar. But we also saw the debut to the overall WWE audience of the Demon King version
Not the
of
Demon
Finn
Kane.
Balor.
Correct?
Exactly.
You know.
Now, you are in complete disagreement over the Demon King being introduced to the Raw audience this past Monday night.
Absolutely, because you're rushing everything that is great about Finn Balor. You debut him on Raw. He goes over on the U.S. Champ clean, on Roman Reigns clean. He's now in the main event of SummerSlam. Then you rush the Demon King gimmick, which should be saved for WrestleMania.
But okay.
It should be. There's no question.
But here's the question.
You're now saying that Finn Balor alone, Finn Balor himself, not the Demon King Finn Balor, is not good enough to beat Seth Rollins. He has to be the guy in the paint.
But going into SummerSlam and this mystique behind the Demon King version of Finn Balor, did WWE have a responsibility to introduce the Demon King to the overall Raw audience? Because as we've talked about, a third of that audience is subscribed to the WWE Network and has seen the Demon King.
But you needed to save the Demon King for something that means something. You're saying
SummerSlam doesn't mean anything?
You're saying Finn Balor alone is not good enough, is not strong enough, is not over enough to beat Seth Rollins. He saved the Demon King for the big fights.
Well, yes, he did.
In NXT, he did. Yes, he did.
At the end, but not at the beginning.
Right. So it's just like, come on, what are you doing? Finn Balor and Seth Rollins is going to be great at SummerSlam regardless. Save the Demon King for Rumble or Mania, for the big spectacle. You gave it away for free.
SummerSlam is a big spectacle.
You gave it away for free.
They have to. It's Finn Balor, who's a relative unknown to the majority of the WWE audience.
There you go.
Against
Well,
Seth
whose
Rollins.
fault is that?
WWE's, and they attempted to repair it by introducing us to the more vivid character.
You don't think it's too soon?
Absolutely not.
I mean, I'm the king of saying stuff is too soon, but that...
No, you're the king of saying stuff too soon, not saying stuff
is that what you mean by that?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I.e. weave shop.
That's
it's
what
still
it was.
smoldering.
Well, they need to put that stuff out.
Donald Trump tried when he came the other day.
It's like
to West Bend, Wisconsin.
What's wrong? There's a lot of Latinos in West Bend.
1.6% minority in West Bend.
Out of 20,000 people, that's a big number.
I feel strongly that they had to introduce the Demon King to the WWE audience. But how about this addition of the King name to the Demon Finn Balor on Raw? He wasn't a Demon King in NXT. He was just the Demon.
It makes no sense. It's too soon. It's just...
Here comes the old school David again, ladies and gentlemen.
No,
it's everything.
No, that's not true. It's just...
Yeah, Finn Balor, he's too small. He has no chance.
He's a cruiser. No, he has the best chance right now. He's the best chance. If Seth Rollins, if the Demon King doesn't win at SummerSlam, now they've wasted everything great about Finn Balor.
You're right. He has to win on Sunday. He has to win tomorrow at SummerSlam.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk about that in Be the Booker, actually, which is a separate program this week. There's a loaded and stacked primetime. Absolutely. Be the Booker now, its own show here on PWR.
Well, it's the highest rated segment on. It's my segment.
He has to win, I think. We'll talk about that in Be the Booker.
It's hot down here.
It is warm down here. But how about Brock Lesnar, Heath Slater, and no Randy Orton this past Monday on Raw?
You know what I don't understand about Heath Slater? I love Heath Slater, even though I hate him because he cost me the first draft.
He sure did. Those 5
But how is he considered
5 point winner?
How is he considered the top free agent when every week he gets his ass handed to him?
Are you not entertained by it, though? Is it not a great story they're telling?
No, it truly is, but why would anybody sign him? He can't win a match.
He's become that annoyance, if you will. And now one of the brands, as SmackDown has tried to for the last 2 weeks, one of the brands is going to sign him out of annoyance for his persistence with getting that signing.
I just don't get it.
I didn't realize, okay, I knew you had heat with Heath Slater, but I didn't realize that he was on your hated too small superstar list.
No, he's
as
not
well.
too small. I think he's great.
Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, the interaction with Heath aside, did they do enough to sell the match for SummerSlam?
Here's the amazing thing.
What's the amazing thing?
Brock Lesnar did business with Heath Slater. Who would have thought?
Oh, 2 suplexes and an F5. That's business.
But he's not in the ring with anybody. That's not a main event guy. Right?
Yeah, I guess.
So he went down to the lower mid card to help elevate Heath Slater to not get signed.
David.
What did I do?
He went down to the lower mid card.
He did. You don't think Heath Slater's lower mid card?
I don't think Heath Slater's any card right now because he hasn't.
At least I put him over to say he's somewhere on the card. You're saying he's nowhere. He's not enhancement talent.
What else stuck out to you on this past Monday's 3-hour edition of Raw? You didn't like Finn Balor. You didn't like Heath Slater.
I like Jarrett KO.
They were good. How about Cesaro? I'm sorry,
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, the endorsed Sami Zayn, getting another win over Sheamus.
Over Sheamus. Poor Sheamus.
How so?
He's like Heath Slater, a jacked up Heath Slater. He can't win.
Oh, because they're both redheaded?
Exactly. Well, what other reason would it be?
I don't know, Dave. You're the one who said it, so what other reason would it be?
I just told you, they're both redheaded.
Oh, my Atlanta.
Gingers.
Well, folks, that is this week's WWE
What was
Raw
your favorite
report.
part of Raw?
My favorite part of Raw was the Demon King. I have long been a mark of Finn Balor and the Demon specifically version of Finn Balor. Seeing that entrance on Raw on the grand stage in the big arena in Texas.
You think that's tickets?
I felt it. I love it. I think it will sell tickets. It's going to more importantly sell masks.
Pointing at me?
It's going to sell danglies. It's going to sell paint. It's going to sell all kinds of stuff. He is a money machine, is Finn Balor. That is not waiting to happen, but was launched and will happen after
How
Monday
long do
night.
you think it takes for him to paint his chest?
There was a story about that on some NXT special. Could have been the WWE 24 or the ESPN show or something. But he brings an artist with him on the road to do his art. He doesn't do that himself.
He has a dude drawing on his chest?
Folks, that is this week's WWE Raw report.
Question.
We are going to take a time out
stuff.
when we're going to take a time out. And let's go to Linda. Linda Kay, she's here as well. We got to get her from the bar upstairs, though.
Because I mentioned chest, now you're going to Linda.
Coming up next on Primetime, it's this week's Smackdown report here on PWR Primetime and Fight TV.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, prime time Saturday night here on Fight TV. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero,
I love being on Fight TV.
Is that right?
Yeah.
FITE.
You know
Fight,
why?
You know?
It's
Why?
like because I can put myself in my pocket and I can go anywhere.
What about the $20?
$20.
That's in your pocket.
That's in my other pocket.
Ah.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, it's we talked about Raw.
Yeah, we did.
And now it's time to talk about Smackdown, the Tuesday Night Delight.
You have to retire that Smackdown because they don't. It's now Smackdown Live. So leave the chimmel out of your voice.
Why are you so bitter this week?
It's hot in here.
It's just me.
I'm not built for heat. You should know that. Just because I'm part Arabic doesn't mean I can
Which
handle
part?
this. Well, it's not the part where the gimmick's on the top of my head.
Smackdown, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the big kickoff of Smackdown this week was the confrontation between Dean Ambrose, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and Dolph Ziggler, his opponent, at SummerSlam tomorrow on pay-per-view in the WWE Network. I felt actually that. What did I miss?
I'm appreciating your flow.
I felt, ladies and I'm a professional, I'm a broadcast journalist. I felt, ladies and gentlemen, that this segment was a bit long and drawn out and wandering at times, yet the masses, all of you out there, seem to think that this was a fantastic segment.
What was fantastic was Dolph Ziggler believes he deserves to be in that spot.
I believe he deserves to be in that spot.
And
he
that,
is endorsed.
And that is the message he is putting out there, that he's a top guy.
He is a top guy. He's a former world heavyweight champion.
It was the best promo he's done. I love it.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Because I'm like, oh shit, shoot, he could be a legit contender.
Thank you, Mean Gene.
Yeah. Oh, nothing fell behind me yet. $200 an hour for that.
Put that cigarette out.
And I love the super kick out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was good. It ended well, but it went like 15 minutes. It could have been 5.
You know, anything can happen at Karma. Anything imaginable.
That is
you know
true.
that?
That is very true. It went too long, in my opinion, though. But was it effective in selling the match for SummerSlam? Because some said it was.
Yeah, because it left Dean Ambrose laying. The world champion.
Did we see him again that night? I don't recall.
Well, there's a lot of guys that look like him.
Oh, man. I forgot, too. Ladies and gentlemen, Dean Ambrose, also too small. Breaking news for David Hero, too light.
Just because you and Dean Ambrose hugged it out in Dallas.
He loves me.
He said that, too.
He did say that.
Which is amazing. I don't get
How is it amazing? I'm loved by millions, hated by one.
Who's the one?
Well, you're the one who
Oh,
puts
it's
the one
that
in
guy
the hated.
down south of the border.
One.
Yeah, I get it. No, there's always one. That's okay. But no, I mean, it's interesting.
Let's move along, though. Randy Orton gets a matchup with Heath Slater. That whole thing, too, was awkward when Randy said, I have an idea, then he took a bite of the apple, and then they cut to the Smackdown intro. But it would be a match between he and Heath Slater. Heath Slater wins, he gets the contract. Randy Orton gets disqualified. Heath Slater does win, but he forgets to or doesn't realize that he needs to sign the contract in the trainer's room.
So now they're saying he's an idiot.
Well, he was under duress. He was injured.
Yeah.
He had been just destroyed
How about
by Randy
Orton stealing the Suplex City gimmick?
Huh?
And teasing.
It was a nice point.
Teasing. See, that's what they used Heath Slater for, because Brock can't wrestle multiple nights. So they use Heath Slater.
Can you rephrase that?
His
He
contract.
doesn't wrestle due to his
contract.
contractual
But
requirements.
here's the beauty of it. They used Heath Slater as like the Band-Aid to keep the two connected.
Yes, they did. They did.
That's why you pay me the big bills, to connect all these dots on all these
Speaking
hours.
of Band-Aids, perhaps at SummerSlam she'll need one, ladies and gentlemen, because it was a traffic jam that kept Eva Marie this week from appearing in her advertised matchup against Naomi with that brand new hot entrance this past Tuesday
Naomi
on
has the
SmackDown.
best entrance of all the girls.
They're going to be
right
selling a lot of glow sticks.
now. Since
I felt like I was
DX.
in an EDM concert. Do you like EDM? Electronic dance music?
No, I thought.
Do you like Eminem?
Yeah, I heard he.
Don't
and
lose yourself. Let's keep going.
I heard that Eminem and Drake like kissed and made up.
What about 50 Cent?
He's in trouble.
Copy that. Eva Marie, Naomi's new
You know what?
entrance.
But does Eva Marie really even drive?
No, her driver. She was stuck in traffic. She
Yeah,
wasn't
I'm
driving.
sure
with it.
she was.
Still, she rides in a vehicle on the road, and if there's traffic,
Well,
whether she's
everyone's on a
driving or not.
vehicle. Eva Marie has the best gimmick going because it's a shoot. She's not ready. She's a beautiful girl. I mean, she's gorgeous, but physically, she's not ready to wrestle.
Did they capitalized on that so tremendously, and this whole thing with her never wrestling, but showing up and having a reason that she didn't every week, a stupid reason, has been brilliant. That entrance, her not wrestling, and then her showing up later in the night this past week on SmackDown, just brilliance, and she has become probably the most popular diva on that show.
Most hated diva.
Women's wrestler on that show now.
Most hated. Most talked about.
Okay.
Most talked about. I think
hated.
that she gets more heat than Charlotte. And Charlotte was the number 2 pick in the draft.
Will we see Eva Marie wrestle tomorrow at SummerSlam?
She's in the tag.
Will we see her wrestle?
Absolutely. She's going to get the victory for her team.
Because she's in a tag match. You can do what in that situation?
You can hide her in that. But now, if they beat her in that tag, it kills off all of her heat.
All of it?
Yes.
How about the 8-man tag team matchup on SmackDown where the American Alpha-led team got the victory in what was just a wild matchup?
American Alpha is fantastic.
They are fantastic. They are tremendous. And which tag team division right now do you think is winning the...
hands down SmackDown.
Okay.
Just because of American Alpha.
What about the Vaudevillains? Where do they go from here? What are they?
I think they should go back to Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
How about the Ascension?
And hang out with Lady Elaine.
How about the Ascension? Bray Wyatt, is there dissension in the Wyatt family? His matchup with, was it Luke Harper versus Randy Orton, I believe it was? I don't remember. My apologies.
No, it was Rowan against Dean Ambrose.
It was, absolutely it was, yes. I was worried about Heath.
Yeah, but Heath Slater looks nothing like
No, but
Luke
he had been
Harper.
injured before, so I was, trying to counsel him and console him. It's live now, it's not taped, so it's happening as it happened.
Wait,
but anyways,
we're not taping this?
Anyways, Bray Wyatt, after the matchup, after the loss, takes the mask, which now has that little tuft of Eva Marie hair on it, and drops it in the chair and walks away. Is this the, what?
Nothing. I didn't realize that.
Is
Eva Marie's hair was on a mask.
Is this the end of the Wyatt family?
No, not at all. Because you can't split them all up.
Folks, be sure to check out Battle of the Brands, which is our online show on our YouTube channel, PWR, on YouTube. And we talked about which show won the week this week. Was it Raw or was it SmackDown? So you can go ahead and check that out again right now on our YouTube channel at PWR. No, youtube.com/.
Bro, what is in that glass?
I don't know, but I haven't drank
Did Linda
any of it. Linda did bring me what I thought was a water, but it's
I've never seen golden colored water before.
No, maybe Gold Dust made it for me. Well, golden colored water.
Oh, well, that.
Anyways, folks, we are going to take a time out, and when we come back, much more on this week's Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time.
Coming up next on Primetime, it's hot news and this week's TNA report.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. David, I like being on location. You know how long it's been? It's been since WrestleMania. No, since Cauliflower Alley Club that we've been on location.
That doesn't really count. That's Vegas. And then we get in trouble, and you get in trouble. And
I've never been arrested.
We both, that's true.
In Vegas.
We had a blast in Vegas.
Yes,
we
did.
Come on. You didn't have fun?
I always have fun in Vegas. It's my kind of town.
Hanging out with Hall of Famers?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great time. It was a great time for sure. But speaking of great times, folks, let's talk about TNA Impact Wrestling. In this week's TNA Impact Wrestling Report, and big news breaking last week, ladies and gentlemen. Dixie Carter, the president of TNA Wrestling, is no longer the president of TNA Wrestling. Dixie has stepped down from her president role and will now be acting as chairman.
Pump the brakes. She didn't step down. She took a step up to chairman.
She is now the chairman of the company, and the new president of TNA Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than Billy Corrigan. Yes, Billy Corrigan, who's been working in a backstage capacity with TNA Impact Wrestling, and if you don't remember, saved the company for their last special event and series of tapings where they did not have the money to pay the production crew. And because of that investment, it appears as if now the one thing that a lot of people have been saying has needed to happen for a long time has happened. Dixie Carter stepping out of managing the day-to-day TNA functions, and now Billy Corgan, David Hero, is the president of the company.
And let's be honest, there's other cogs in this whole machine. Yeah, well, causes too. Right now, TNA is going to go. That front office is going to get a complete overhaul. Okay.
All three of them?
No, I mean you got CEOs, CFOs. You have talent relations. There's a whole bunch of people that need to be concerned about their livelihood and jobs, because now that you have Billy Corgan in as the president, who has skin in the game, his own money in this. He's a minority owner, and let's not forget Aerolux,
out of Nashville, a media company
is involved.
And involved with that company are?
Yes, Ron and Don Harris, the Harris twins, Eli and Jacob Blue, if you go even further back. And they're going to infuse money into TNA Impact Wrestling. And they're going to change things. Billy Corgan has said he's going to go home, back to Chicago, put together his vision, how he wants to see this company run. He's going to come back and step on toes. He's going to do things his way. And even though Billy doesn't have a whole lot of wrestling management experience, like I said, he has his own money in this. He wants to get return on his investment.
Let's not forget, though, Billy Corgan, this is not his first foray into running a wrestling organization, as he was part of the launch of the Resistance Pro wrestling organization based out of Chicago a couple of years back. I don't know if you know the story, but what is the story, if you know it, of his departure? Because he departed from Resistance Pro well before that organization.
It was just creative differences. I mean, it's no secret that
he invested a lot of money in that company.
That my GLCW brand did a joint show with Resistance Pro in Racine, Wisconsin. And Billy wasn't there, but I worked with his crew, and everything went fairly well. But Billy Corgan, I mean, who would have thought? I never thought I'd be saying Billy Corgan is going to change the makeup of TNA Impact Wrestling.
Well, in the tapings that they conducted over the course of the weekend and early into this week, several big things did happen. We know that Bobby Lashley is the all-everything champion in the company right now. But we also know, and keep in mind this could be spoilers, we don't know when some of this stuff is going to air, so we apologize, but we've given you the warning. All the titles combined, the King of the Mountain Championship, then absolved into the World Heavyweight Championship, and a new TNA Grand Championship has been created, where it's actually going to be points and rounds, if you will, in matches that are going to determine who becomes the new TNA Grand Champion.
Which here's what I don't understand. They're doing that because they're saying that they want the guys to act like they're winning every round.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they're already trying to do, is win every match?
Well, not necessarily. If you're a champion, you have no reason to win. You could lose by DQ or count out and still
It's going to be interesting.
Well, there are no champions. Lashley has all the titles.
It's going to be rather confusing in the beginning, and I'm sure they'll make it'll work somehow. But TNA needs to get this out to their audience.
Folks, we also saw the debut just last week on Impact Wrestling of the former Damien Sandow of WWE, Aaron Rex, and he came out. Aaron Rex? Is that his name?
Yeah, I don't get that.
Well, he can't be Damien Sandow anymore.
No, he can't. But Aaron Rex.
That is his name, folks. He did come out. He cut one of those promos again. But, David, you took issue with his utilization in the final moments of that broadcast last week.
Why do you do this to me? Everyone's going to think
why do I do what to you?
It was a private conversation.
I am a broadcast journalist. When Wolf Blitzer was training me, because I went to the Wolf Blitzer School of Journalism, when he was training me, he told me, ask those hard questions. And don't let them pivot.
Here's what I was frustrated about the whole Damien Sandow.
Do you want me to say it? Because I agree.
No. Let's just even rewind a little bit further back. Aaron Rex comes out down to the ring. He's Damien Sandow.
Of the unwashed masses?
Of formerly of WWE. With a almost well-cropped, groomed beard. Regular street clothes. Doesn't look like Damien fricking Sandow.
No.
Does he?
Mm-mm.
So the guy that you've watched,
like the guy that jumped in the ring Monday night.
So the guy that's built a name and a brand on WWE over the last few years shows up not looking like him.
But let's be fair, he can't, because that's all copywritten and protected by WWE.
He can wear the same beard.
He can do
Ken
that.
Anderson came down with the microphone. Hall and Nash came out still looking like Diesel and Razor.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rikishi still is Rikishi. Sky, you can still tweak it. And then, so you have Damian Sandow, or Aaron Rex, formerly known as Damian Sandow, who last we saw
endorsed, by the way.
Who last we saw on TV was part of the Mega Powers with Curtis Axel, which was a parody thing.
Yeah.
Which before that, he was the stunt double for The Miz, which was a parody. Now comes down.
Great one, though.
Now comes down during the main event after Bobby Lashley wins the King of the Mountain, all 3 titles. Damian Sandow, a mid-card guy. Yes, he did win Money in the Bank. He did. Fantastic talent. But he was a comedy act.
He said that in his promo. He was too entertaining to be successful in WWE.
Now we have to believe that the mid-card comedy act is now as good or better than the main event world champion on TNA Impact Wrestling. We're done.
That is this week's.
You're now telling the audience that the mid-card guy in WWE is as good or better than the main event world champion in TNA Impact Wrestling.
That is this week's TNA Impact Wrestling
Whoa,
report.
whoa, pump the brakes. You're not gonna. You agreed with that.
You said that was the end of it. We were done.
No, but you agreed with that.
I am just.
Oh,
I
if
am
I'm
the
gonna
broadcast
listen,
journalist.
you're
I am
gonna
here
say
to
I
ask
got the shovel.
questions.
They're gonna say I got the shovel. I have nothing against Damian Sandow. I think he's great. I'm just saying the way
What
it was
about Aaron
written.
Rex?
I don't get Aaron. I don't get the
Should he have
name
been Damian Newdow?
No. He could have been his regular real name.
Aaron Stevens, right? Is that his name?
When he was in OVW, he was Aaron the Idol Stevens. Could have been Aaron the Idol Stevens again.
Perhaps.
You know, but Aaron Rex, I think of Jurassic Park.
Let's go to this week's hot news, ladies and gentlemen, and big
It's
news
frickin' hot
on the
in here.
Hulk Hogan
That's
lawsuit
news.
against Gawker, a suit that Hogan won a couple of months back for $140 million for the damages done to. What are you? We're on.
I'm looking to see if it was really $140
No,
million.
you're checking text and social media
No,
because
I'm
you
not.
can't not.
No, I can't.
You can't not. These people have tuned in to see
it's
you
87
for
degrees
whatever
in here.
reason, folks.
It's 87 degrees.
Gawker was just purchased out of bankruptcy.
sweating, man.
The lawsuit put them into bankruptcy. Just purchased
I don't
out
get
of
the
bankruptcy.
fancy napkins you get.
Out of bankruptcy by Univision.
Yeah,
Univision, now the owner of Gawker. They bought it for $150 million. So,
I wonder how Trump feels about that.
what do you mean?
Well, he's against all that stuff.
No, he wants to unify this country and cross the racial divides and all
'Cause
that.
he loves
you saw
the
his
people.
Facebook post, didn't you?
No.
You were at his rally in West Bend last night, two nights ago.
Yes, but what's the big deal about that?
Big deal about what? I don't know. You brought it up, so please tell me what the big deal is.
I wanted to see Trump in person. There's nothing wrong with that. You wouldn't want to photo up with Donald
Well, you didn't
Trump?
bring with you what I asked you to bring with you.
Dude, that's a felony.
No, the Trump sign that had the big red X over it.
Oh no.
That's what I'm talking about. That's freedom of speech, right? First Amendment.
Oh, you would want to send as an X on it.
Is Hogan going to see this money?
You'll see some of it.
Univision is a big company. They're
But
actually
I doubt,
one of the largest
I doubt
networks.
Univision is incurring their debt.
Well, they have to. They buy the company.
No,
Where's
they
the debt
don't.
go?
They can say we're not buying the debt. You're stuck with it.
Could be the case. Could be the case. Also in the news this week, ladies and gentlemen, 2 big wellness policy suspensions announced by WWE on Wednesday. The first of which being Alberto Del Rio, who just performed in that live Smackdown matchup with some build-up, by the way.
Yeah.
A little bit of an explanation of his big return a year ago. He is suspended for a wellness policy violation, and interestingly enough, also suspended for a wellness policy violation is Paige, who's been mired in
my
controversy
good God.
for the last several months, as we have not really seen her perform, and there's been speculation as to her mental state. Well, it's a 30-day suspension for her first wellness policy violation. 2 stars, big stars in WWE, gone for 30 days.
And they're both main events.
They are.
I mean, Del Rio's a top guy. Paige is a top girl. I think it's
Still?
I think it's very kabuki that they're dating each other.
The
and they're
Great
both being
Kabuki was not suspended.
It was the green mist.
I thought the red mist was barred.
The green mist always gets in the bloodstream.
Okay.
You know, so it'll be interesting to see how they're going to bring them both back. I love Paige. I have always felt
Love? That's a very strong word.
Well, it's a 4-letter word. My thing is with
is lust.
Paige. Yes, my thing is with Paige is that if she were to keep her head on straight, she would be the greatest diva of all time. This
We don't know the nature of the wellness policy violation.
doesn't matter. It's one strike. And I want to see the outrage for all the idiots out there that were pissy about Roman Reigns that now be hot at ADR and Paige.
What do you mean?
What? Well, you're going to be mad at Reigns and call him a drug addict and a straight abuser, well, you got 2 more. Dump the heat on them.
You know, we didn't talk about this during Raw, but what about Rusev and Roman Reigns and the interaction between those two and Rusev hijacking the show to kick off Raw?
Let's talk about wellness policy violations.
I'm waiting.
Okay. I was with Hornswoggle.
I'm sorry?
I was with Hornswoggle.
What do you mean?
I was with him over the weekend.
Okay.
Not with him like that, you freak. That's not my thing. You're disgusting. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, what did you get popped for? You know? Uh-huh. And he didn't get popped for anything. He couldn't provide a sample.
Correct. Yeah. Yes, he's revealed that.
Okay. So
you get a certain period of time to do it, though. And I believe it's hours, not minutes, and he was not able to provide a sample. That's his story, yes.
Yeah. I don't think he'd lie about it. Do you?
I don't see a reason to. I mean, he's already gone from the company.
Yeah,
so why?
Maybe ADR and Paige couldn't provide a sample.
You know you can buy those, I've learned recently.
Yeah, it's called the Whizzer.
I'm sorry?
It's called the Whizzer.
Is there a website, Whizzer.com? Or?
Yeah, actually, I think it was.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that is this week's Hot News.
Coming up next on PWR Primetime, it's DWHS and a preview of tonight's UFC 202.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final leg of this extended edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night. Davey Nelson sitting alongside David Hero and David.
We're at Karma.
We are at Karma Bar and Grill, where tonight UFC 202 will be on the big screen.
Conor
McGregor.
Is that why you're drinking Jameson?
Versus Nate Diaz.
Oh,
Nate Diaz getting the big win last time.
You're not drinking Jameson. It's like lemonade, right?
Do you want to be the book the UFC fight tonight?
No. That
Really?
stuff's
Can't
fake.
do it?
I can't.
That
fake
stuff's fake. Okay. All right. So DWHS, David Hero.
You know,
the camera is yours.
You know what? It's like I've been on. I don't mean to say me a broken record. I'm a Finn Balor guy. I think Finn Balor is an amazing talent. I think they're
Except he's too small.
No. I think that they're going to sabotage Finn Balor by bringing him out as the Demon King if he loses tomorrow night at SummerSlam. Because now you have this majestical character, almost like an Undertaker type entrance. A very elaborate entrance. You bring him down to the ring, all the pomp and circumstance, all the pyro, all the lights, all the ups and the downs. You bring him out, and if he loses to Seth Rollins at SummerSlam as the Demon King, the Demon King character now means absolutely nothing, because the first time out of the chute, it's a loser. They rushed him as Finn Balor, they're rushing him as the Demon King, and what are the fans going to do when it all goes backwards in Kabuki-ish and Finn Balor now drops to the middle of the pack? It's everyone's fault for pushing it so fast, and with that, David Hero has spoken.
Did you have hatred for Shawn Michaels when he broke into the business and became the big star, meaning
No,
after his
not at
market
all.
split? Because he's about the same size of all these little people you don't like.
Okay, but Shawn Michaels always fought from underneath.
Maybe Finn Balor will.
Shawn Michaels started as a tag team, worked his way up to IC.
Finn Balor's been in the
worked his
business
way,
for 15 years.
Yeah, and but what has he done in the WWE?
Can the Demon King
I don't care what
lose?
anybody says about being an international superstar. I don't care if you were in WCW, ECW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, whatever else it is. When you come to WWE, it is the top of the scale. There is no place greater. The lights are not brighter. You become a household name in WWE.
So let me ask you this. Tomorrow night at SummerSlam,
Yes.
Brooklyn, New York. Of course, tonight, NXT TakeOver, by the way.
Yes.
Nakamura versus Samoa Joe. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that in a moment. But if the Demon King loses tomorrow at SummerSlam, can he do so because of shenanigans and still be okay?
No.
He can't lose, period.
No, the
Meaning
Demon King cannot
Mick
lose.
Foley screws him, Stephanie McMahon screws him, Roman Reigns screws him. None of that.
The build-up for the Demon King is Undertaker-esque. He can't lose.
And maybe he won't. We'll find out in Be the Booker, which will hit tomorrow. Speaking of Be the Booker, we're not going to do a formal Be the Booker for tonight's NXT TakeOver show. They're in a tough place. I don't think they were up against UFC last year.
No, a big UFC fight this year.
Huge.
A big one.
But
Samoa
Joe,
it's not in Brooklyn. Samoa, they're already sold out.
Brooklyn?
The UFC fight's not in Brooklyn.
Correct.
It's
yes.
not
It's
across
on pay-per-view.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't tell me that everyone in Brooklyn's going to watch the pay-per-view.
Well, here's the thing. I think I can watch. I don't know the difference. I'm not a huge UFC fan. I plan on watching the fight Saturday night tonight, but I don't know if I'm going to watch TakeOver on demand later or the live UFC pay-per-view on demand later. You know what I mean? I don't know which one I pick.
Here's the thing. You can watch both because the main event for the UFC fight won't happen until probably 11 o'clock at night.
True. Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good point. Very good point.
I have good points.
Nakamura, Samoa Joe, NXT Championship on the line tonight at the Barclays Center.
You know what? It's going to be an amazing fight. I hope Samoa Joe retains because it seems like whoever the hot hand that comes in, they put the belt on him right away. Let Samoa Joe keep running with it for a little bit.
Well, folks, big weekend from WWE, big weekend in UFC, Summerslam weekend from Brooklyn, New York. We've got Be the Booker for Summerslam hitting your airwaves tomorrow morning on our YouTube channel and on Fight TV
I see
as
what
well.
you're doing. You're getting the content out.
SummerSlam Sunday, content is king. And, of course, be sure to check out Battle of the Brands. No Feedback Friday this week, unfortunately.
Thank God. Can't handle it.
You can't handle
I get
the truth?
stressed out.
Is that right?
It's hard different things to
Do
say
you
every
black
week.
out?
No, no.
Folks, we are done. And for that one, this is Damian Nelson saying we'll see you again next week on Prime Time Saturday night. Thanks for joining us.